Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham dathagato tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye svaha. Om he dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham nathagato yavatat tesham jayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration free, clear light and not. Things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, we learned the 5 pairs, meaning subjective as opposed to objective, conventional as opposed to ultimate, true, the deceptive as opposed to truly existent, dependent as opposed to independent, then what? Relative as opposed to absolute. Okay. So what is important is that, of course, we need to these 5. There are actually more than 5, but this, if you know these 5, that's good enough. Subjective, conventional, relative, deceptive, dependent. It's very important for us to know how these 5 are synonymous. And particularly what I would say is that thus far from these, what have we discussed the most? In terms of course, they mean the same, but in terms of the words, which came across most often, what do you think? Conventional, subjective, anyone else? Relative. Did I use the word relative? Not as much. In this class. Dependent, subjective, objective, these were words which came more often. So, okay. So let us see, particularly today I'd like to bring to your notice or share with you your name, the lady there. What Vasudha said. Are you the one who asked, how do we relate the conventions with the label?
I said, what's the role of language in conventional?
Language with the conventional existence. Okay. So let's say conventional existence labels and the subjective existence. Okay, this is what I like to share with you. So, alongside, we're also going to learn how things exist subjectively, how things exist conventionally. But before we go further, I want to ask you, what does it mean by convention? Anyone? What does it mean by convention? Not necessarily in this context, but in your own understanding. Yes?
Something that many people or the whole society agrees on.
I say it again.
Something that a group of people or the whole society agrees on.
Okay, something which the group of people or society agrees on. Can you give an example?
Then we call this a book.
Okay, this is book. Good. Yes, Dilo.
We greet each other in a specific thing, like in German, we say Guten Tag and give us the hand.
Okay, so this example, I say the convention. Which one? Guten Tag is the convention or the handshake is the convention? Which one?
I was the hand, let's say the hand.
Not the Guten Tag.
It's language, I don't know if we can count this together.
Okay, good. So handshake,
Yeah.
right? Before COVID it's like this. With COVID it's like this. Right? Before COVID is like this. With COVID it's like this. It changes. You're getting it? Very good example. The lady over there, Chris. Huh?
Ordinary.
Ordinary. What is ordinary?
Mundane.
Your name is convention. How is it convention? How is it convention?
Just in, I guess, in another like a prominent sense. I'm interpreting it a different way.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Certain things which are agreed upon to make our lives easier. For example, in India, walking on the left side. In other world, other parts of walking on the right
And
side.
what about the computers? They'll make our life easier, right?
Yeah,
The car also.
But certain rules which everybody
Rules.
follows to make life easier. Which
Okay.
then,
So the car is not a convention.
no, car is a convention. So that's
Car is not a rule.
car. But I didn't get your question.
Okay. So you give the answer without getting the question?
I understood, but why did you say car?
I didn't say.
No, driving on the left side is a convention because it makes our life easier. That's all.
Okay. I say in driving on the left or right?
Left side. In India, it's
Left. Yes.
A set of rules or standards agreed upon by a set of people to communicate or phenomena or social.
Okay, set of rules agreed upon by the people. So do your most same and what the Chungil is saying. Anyone else? What does it mean? What it mean convention?
name of a city.
What do you mean by convention?
Not that. Like everyone.
Not example. Or you can give me an example, yeah. Say the name of a city. Name of a city, or say the how a name is given to a city. Ganj. Very good. Yeah.
Whenever we have to make a choice, but there's no clearly better choice, but we have to make the same
Can you
one.
give an example?
For example, the direction in which current flows. And as a result, electrons have negative charge, but it could be the other way around. It's an arbitrary choice.
I could not follow what you think.
Okay, so when people invented electronic circuits, you have to say this is the direction forward and this is the direction backward. And you can choose either way, but you have to make one choice and then everyone has to agree. But it's not inherent in the physics.
Are you from the engineering background?
Yes.
Yes, I can see it. Okay, the lady there.
Accepting norm,
Accepting norm. What do you mean by norm?
what everybody agrees on.
Okay, everybody agrees. Good. The lady over there.
Patterns of behaviors that are accepted as code for a certain culture.
I say it again. or the ways of behavior, ways of conduct, which is accepted as correct by a group of people. Good.
I just have to.
Yes.
The robes of a monk.
The robes of monk. Why? Why not your shirt?
My shirt too. What women need to use in a determined society, or what's the clothes of a man. The clothes and appearance, like maintain or not a shaved hair, and this is conventions.
Why? How is the convention?
A specific group or society decide that this symbolizes something. We put a meaning in a attitude, thing, label. We put labels to make our life more easy to flow.
Okay. So, any new hands? Here.
Fashion.
Can you give an example?
What is considered to be trendy or fashionable to wear?
Can you give an example?
So, like maybe in some skater groups, oversized pants are considered fashionable. You know, it depends on the group.
Very good example. Yes, I agree with you. The lady there.
What everyone was saying is right on some level, but I think a lot of this stuff was never decided. It's not a group sits together, like maybe with a circuit, a group sat together and decided it. But I think often it's a thing over time what turns out to be more practical.
Can you give me an example?
Like with evolution, with the birds that were, when the mouse changed to what the food is available, I think we humans kind of do the same thing. Like what seems to be easiest for us is the thing we agree on. But it's not that someone sits there and has a discussion. Like I was never asked, should we call it this or that? It's just something that is like often traditional over generations, and we never question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is extremely important. So when we speak about that things are all conventional, things exist only in the conventional sense, or that things exist only conventionally. For that, first try to understand what is meant by convention in the conventional sense. What is meant by convention? In a loose sense, how do you understand it? Then try to, at times of philosophy and psychology, sometimes people, they use the words like a jargon, not really, correlating with the root, how this word came into being. So first you understand how it is used in a conventional or in a vernacular sense, how the word convention is used. Or, who's that? The lady there said the norm, convention. Once you understand it, and then try to see if the philosophy, any philosopher, whoever talks about the conventional existence, to just see if they can offer something deeper than how the conventional people understand it. You getting it? Okay, so for me, what I would say is that the first time I was shocked by this word convention, not by the word, the concept. An example was that when I was in school, I think I was in class 7 or 8, and my teacher said that the electricity, the gentleman there, what is his name? Matthias. So what Matthias said, electricity, right? And the teacher first introduced the electricity in the class. He said that electricity, it has the two sides, positive and negative. And I was so curious how to know which is positive, which is negative. And then the teacher said that one is positive, one is negative, it's just convention. It mentally disturbed me so much. Because there's nothing there to grab to say this positive, right? Or let's say that this is chair, this is table. We can make some distinction. But that there's nothing there to say that this positive, there's nothing, no indication there to say this positive, this negative. It's just convention. I was mentally very disturbed because there's no objective thing to be identified. Whereas we are so addicted to seeing things as objectively real. You're getting it? And I was so disturbed. I wish emptiness was introduced then. If emptiness is introduced then, I'll be so happy. Wow, that's amazing. There's no objective reality there. Right? So it's the first time I was introduced that it's just convention. Convention means somebody else calls it that this is positive, this is negative. Okay. So let's say that the traffic rules. Traffic rules. So which should be right? Drive. Right lane or left lane?
Depends which country you are driving.
In India? Okay, where you're from?
I'm from Australia.
Australia, which side?
I think on the left also.
Not too sure. So he's the one who was driving on both sides. And on the first hand, he's saying that it depends on the country. And when he asks him, he's not too sure. He drives both sides.
I mean, in India you can drive wherever, really.
No, that's not true. It's you. Not Australians. Only him. He drives both sides. So he's not sure. In India, you have to ride to the left side. Right? Okay. So let's say India, you have to drive on the left lane. Subjective. Okay. Why should it be that you have to drive on the left? Who decides? Why do you say that driving on the left side is the correct one? Why do you say that? Anyone? Huh?
The British.
Okay, the Britishers. Are you over there?
I have the same answer. The British made the law and we are following.
Okay, so the British make the law. So the road does not tell you, hey, you're now in the wrong lane. Road doesn't tell you. Road is an object, right? And the object doesn't tell you that you are in the wrong lane. Okay. And so what is this? So the Britishers, they made it, and the Britishers, when they make it, what made them decide that left is the correct one? Anyone? Yes.
There is a story about if you're on the horse, I think, it's easier to, if you're on the sword or something like this, it's more convenient if you're on the left.
Okay, then what about those people who are on the right? For them, the other side is easier?
They ride camels.
Huh?
They ride camels.
Yes. Okay. Over there. Say it again? No, I could not hear, please. Yeah.
They like to do many things differently from the other countries. Like the word called water, money.
So which means other countries, they are doing the opposite. So what made other countries do the opposite? Okay, Tilok?
Maybe it starts in a small village and from there it's established into the area around and then it comes to a nation, like an evolutionary process. Maybe there was not really a strong decision. We are the nation.
I would say that what Tilok said holds true in many cases. But with the traffic, I'm not too sure. But the traffic, do you think that before the car, the traffic rules are there? Before the cars. Before the cars. Before the car, no need of traffic. Huh? Huh? For the horses, I'm sure there's no traffic rules. I'm sure.
All the horses and cars can just go whichever direction they want to.
Oh, in those days, before the cars, even the traffic, the people traveling so less in number. Even the population so less. Even during the first cars, First cars, there's no traffic rule, 100%. No traffic rule within the first cars. First 100 cars, 1,000 cars, no traffic rules. Only when the cars can drive anywhere you like. Okay, in your village or in your city, in your neighborhood, is there a rule for you to walk only in the right side, left side? No rules. So as the number increases, then this jam happens. So in emergency cases, say the health, the emergency could be or any emergency, then the cars get stuck, and then some people will complain to the government. So we have to do something with this. The government, yes, we have to take it very seriously. And then experts are called. Okay, what should we do now? This is a problem. So the experts say, don't worry, we'll tackle this. And then they say, okay, what do you think is better, left or right? We have to go for one. And then if in most cases, whoever said left, let's say go left, right? And the British, in fact, what the lady there who said, it should be the opposite. Usually British made the rule the first, and Americans made the opposite, right? Now the British made the opposite of the other countries. So then the Americans made the opposite, and many before Britishers, and many for Americans. That's it, in most cases. In some cases, they might have the independently conventions. So in other words, convention is like, okay, so in some cases there's a reason why this is done, as your name? What Karen said, for the purpose, this better, so let's always do it this way. Then it becomes a convention. In some cases, there's no, so why, let's say the traffic, when there's a red light, what should we do? Stop. Why not with the blue?
Convention.
Why not with the pink? No reason, right? And the red is scary, and green can be easily scary. With the green, right? With the green, if something disaster happened and somebody put the green light there, and then the convention becomes that with the green is very scary, right? So even the light, the red means stop, green means go. This is all convention. It's all convention. You're getting it? What is convention? So the red light means you have to stop. Green means go. So this convention, what do you mean by convention? Some people, they decided. You get it? Some people decided. They decided, the body decided, the mind decided. The mind decided. Mind is subject or object? Mind is subject or object? Subject. So this convention is purely subjective. Convention has a connotation of subjectivity. So subjective existence and conventional existence, they are the same. It makes sense? Good. Okay. So with this, let's say that so from this, we have to gradually understand that there are many things which we can easily see as conventional. For example, like traffic rules, the traffic lights, and then what? And then the gentleman here who said it, like the boys and girls, the different dresses and so forth, right? It's all conventions. For example, if I come with what is that? Heel? What do you call it? Heels. If I come with the heels, everybody will laugh. Look, even before coming, they start laughing. Just imagine you're laughing. It's purely convention. If it is that the monks should be on the hills. Right? Then if you are not on the hill, it's so weird. It's so odd. You're getting it? So all the boys should be on the hills. Right? All the boys should have long hairs. And the girls, okay, the boys should have long hairs and the girls should have short hairs. And all the boys should be on the hills and all the boys should have lipsticks. Right? This is purely convention. Purely convention. And convention is coming from the subject or object? From the subject. And gradually our mind is so addicted to see things as objectively real. So when you see that as subjectively real, it's just subjective. When you see the boys in the hills, it's not a problem for you. But if you see the boy on a hill, so weird, right? Which means you are seeing it as objectively real. You're getting it? So what is subjectively real? You gradually, your mind is so addicted to seeing things objectively real, and then you project it as objectively real. Objectively, the boys' men should not be on hills. Boys' men should not be having the lipsticks, right? Okay, so this is purely convention. When you keep in mind. Okay, so first we do that. Then gradually see, for example, let's say that say what Ami said, say even the fashion is a purely convention, right? If somebody, right, let's say that what is Usain Bolt, what is his name? Usain Bolt, what is his, the unique, the what, gesture? Yes, like this, right? And then some young athletes, when they win the competition, they would do like this, right? And then it becomes like a fashion. It's purely convention, right? Pure convention. Okay, so gradually just see what is table, it should be like this, pure convention. What is aesthetics, it's pure convention, right? This is how we have to get used to. Yes?
Two things. The table is sure convention, but it's also functional. Like it performs its function the best with 4 legs and a flat top, right? So it's also functional. The second one is like when convention comes from like superstition or some sort of sign or some sort of like, supernatural phenomena that I'm like, oh, I sat in a cave one time and I got this message from something, and now every time I have to do this because.
Okay. If you remember what Karen said, say why the left side, because it's easier, it's a functionality. You're getting it? So the conventions coming out of functionality, these conventions will last longer. Conventions which do not have any functions, and then they are prone to change. They can change very easily. With functionality, that is, and then the convention which spread wider, it may last longer. So the convention which existed for longer duration of time, it may last longer. So there are many factors. The convention with the functions, with the functionality, the convention can last longer. In other words, just as we see that traffic lights, traffic lanes, and the fashions and so forth, they are conventions, we have to gradually learn how everything is a pure convention. You getting it? Okay. So now, if somebody comes up with the glasses, triangle in shape, right? It's so weird, right? It should be round or square. It should not be triangle, right? But again, it becomes a convention. Okay, so this is how we have to learn. You have to learn. And so with this, now the next part is convention and subjective. We see these two are in a way, for time being, it's like the same. Now the labels, do you see labels? Okay, the labels. So convention meaning, what is that? Something that comes to your mind. And then you have to say you have to express it. Right? Okay, this is correct. Right lane is correct. Left lane is wrong. Left lane is correct. Right lane is wrong. So this convention, if it is purely from the object, you don't have to utter anything. If it's from the object, so since it's not from the object, it's coming from the subject, you have to express it. Expressing, the labels are used. So labels also has a connotation of subjectivity. For example, let's say, what's your name? Vasudha. Say, what is the meaning of Vasudha, by the way?
Planet Earth.
Huh?
Planet Earth.
Are you Earth?
I think so.
Are you planet Earth?
I'm just kidding. No,
You're not. But you're Vasudha, right?
it's just a label given.
It's just a label given. It's just a label against subjectivity. You're getting it? Against subjective. And it's very strange. But the boys and girls, or boys and non-boys, this is also purely subjective. You know why? Do you agree with me? The boys and non-boys, they are separated on the body. Yes, no? Yes. And when you see the boys and girls, you see them as starkly different. Yes, boys and non-boys. But do you agree with me that boys and non-boys, they're nothing but a bunch of atoms? Right? On that atomic level, there's no difference between male and female. Right? So where is the male, where is the female? It's just purely how your subject perceives. Very scary though. Right? You agree with me or not? And how many you are below 30 raise hands? Under 30. Raise hands? Under 30. Okay. The raise hands those who are above 30? What do you call it? Above 30. Raise hands? Above 30, raise hands. Okay. When I say below 30 and above 30, I'm sure above 30 feels a little low. Right? So we are old. 30, by the way, is not old. But 30 plus, don't worry. 30 plus, your atoms and what they call as young people, below 30, below 20, their atoms, they are same age. You agree with me or not? All the atoms of the people, the 90 plus and below 20, the age of their atoms are 15 billion years old. No atom is younger, no atom is older. Right? But we invariably see somebody, look, when I was 7 years old, I still remember my hand was so cute. So now it's not cute anymore. But there's undeniable reality there. Cute, not cute. Male, not male. Right? This distinction is there. But you go deeper, you see where is young, where is old? It's all just the same age on the atomic level. On the atomic level, there's no difference male and non-male, female, non-female. This distinction is not there. So what are all these things? It's purely what's coming into your mind, purely from the subject, not from the object. And yet, you cannot deny the reality that there is young and old, that I'm becoming older. Each one of us, we are becoming older. You agree with me? There's nobody who's becoming younger. You're getting it? And this is undeniable fact. Yet on the atomic level, we are all same age. But where is it that we are becoming older? Where is this? Where is this? On the atomic level, there's no young, old. Everybody's same age. Where is this? It exists somewhere. From the object, there's not there. It's purely subjective. Yet, you cannot say that, it's purely subjective, you can imagine anything, right? Okay, these people called me 55, I'm actually 16, sweet 16. You cannot say that. Even if I 16 people, sweet 16, but sweet 16 will reject me. You are not sweet 16. You are old. Right? So this undeniable fact is there. At the same time, where is it? From the object, nowhere to be seen. Right? Then the only thing is the subjective, pure conventions. Yet, it is efficaciously a reality. You cannot deny this. So this undeniable reality is the functionality. The functionality, someone younger, becoming older every day. This is an undeniable fact. And you do exercise, you are healthier. This is an undeniable fact. You take the good food, you become healthier mentally, you become less angry, you're happier, less angry, your immunity increases, more anger, your immunity decreases. These are all undeniable facts. Where are these undeniable facts operating? When the objective is not there. Where is it? Purely subjective. Yet,
although it is subjective, on the subjective level, the infallible cause and effect is operating. But you cannot say that, oh, I'm so lucky to discover that everybody's same age. All the atoms are 15 billion years old. We're all same age. Okay, now, I don't really worry. I'm 55 years old. I'm 60 years old. No, I'm as young as 16 years old boy, 16 years old girl. I'm very young. No, you cannot say that. Right? 50 years old means 50 years old. Although on the atomic level you cannot find it, on the object level you cannot find it, but this is undeniable reality. So where is it? It's purely on the subjective level, not on the objective level. Yet on the subjective level, the efficacy of cause and effect is operating. You're getting it? So this is where objectively things are empty, but subjectively everything is there. The functionality exists efficaciously. Okay, this is so important. So, say it again. Huh? Okay. Did I speak fast?
No, my answer's
Okay. Okay, first let me address what she said. Say, simply because it is subjective doesn't mean that it's pure imaginary. Subjective means it's your mind. It's because it's mind, it's just your mind imagines, imaginary. Everything is imaginary. So I'm not really 55. I can imagine myself as 16. No, you are 55. There's undeniable fact that you are not. This undeniable fact that you are not, that I'm not 16. I'm 55. Although objectively, I don't see myself as 55, right? Objectively, from the object side, if we were to really see, we see that we're all just same age. Atom-wise, on the atomic level, we're all same age. But something is there that, okay, now I'm growing older, right? I'm growing older. When younger days, okay, how many of you could feel that? Younger days, your memory is much better. Your memory is going bad. In the younger days, I don't need the glasses. No, I can't see the small letters. I have to put in the glasses, right? Younger days, my body is so flexible. I don't have to put my two hands down like this. Now I have to put my two hands down when standing, sitting down. Okay, these undeniable facts are there. We cannot deny that these things exist. They exist. Yet they don't exist from the object. From the object, you can never find what is girl, what is boy, what is young, what is old. You will never find that on the atomic level. But these are undeniable realities. So where do they exist? On the subjective level. While things they exist subjectively, but it doesn't mean that things are all imaginary. Imaginary means you can imagine that, okay, I'm a Buddha, and tomorrow I'm a sentient being. Right? Today I'm a girl, today I'm a boy, tomorrow I can imagine myself as a girl. No, this doesn't work. It's not imaginary. So, subjective does not mean imaginary. You're getting it? Subjective doesn't mean imaginary. Within the subjectivity, the efficacy of the cause and effect is operating. Infallible, dependent origination is operating. You're getting it? Okay, so how do you distinguish between what is nihilism and what is emptiness? In nihilism, where you believe nothing exists, in nihilism, there's a denial of the efficacy of cause and effect. In nihilism, there's a denial of the efficacy of cause and effect. Whereas with the emptiness, it's compatible. It's compatible with the efficacy of the cause and effect. You can accept you can see that these two are compatible. Emptiness of objective existence and the efficacy of cause and effect, these two are seen as compatible. Whereas these two cannot be seen as compatible in where you see things as nihilism or, say, the imaginary. Okay, this is very important for us to keep in mind. Yes, over there.
I can see what you're saying and everything. The one example I can't kind of work with my mind is that between men and women, men can't give birth and women can.
Okay, on the atomic level, birth, no birth makes no sense. It's just a bunch of atoms, that's it. Right, on the atomic level. Sorry? What's the last word that I said? You ask him. So the males don't give birth, but the females give birth. Right? So what I'm saying, even the giving birth and so forth, this is purely convention. We see it's an undeniable reality. But on the atomic level, this doesn't make any sense. For example, let's say why in the aeroplane the knife is not allowed? Why? Hey, knife is allowed, not allowed? Not allowed. Why? Why not? Okay, this pen is allowed? This pen is allowed. Knife is not allowed. Why not?
People may misuse it.
People may misuse. You understand what I'm saying. But on the atomic level, what the pen does and what the knife does is the same. On the atomic level, you're getting it. Say, for example, if there's a cheesecake, right, and I have to split it into two. I don't want to use my hand to split into two. It makes my hand dirty. So I use my pen like this, and it's divided into two. And what's the pen? What's the knife does? Knife also is to cut things. It can misuse, means it can cut somebody, right? Which means cut one piece into two pieces, right? So what this knife does on the atomic level is that it simply separates the atoms. Nobody can cut the atom. The knife cannot cut the atom. You're getting it? If you have a knife to cut the atom, it's amazing.
It will be an explosion.
Yeah. So it may explode here. Fusion or fission?
Yeah.
Fusion or fission? Yes. Okay. So the point is that what this knife does is that what this pen does to split the cheesecake into two pieces. So this knife actually tells the atoms, okay, you go this way, you go this way, right? Just push the two atoms separate. And this is what in the conventional eyes we see as cutting. You getting it? Cutting. Yes.
I want to go back a bit to the moment that we try to prove that things exist, that there is objective reality. Like, how can we be sure with the example that we gave with the microphone, that now we are in reality, or how can we be sure it's not a dream? Or, like, let's say, if there is a possibility that there is another dimension, and now we are kind of in this dimension, it's a dream, and we wake up later. Okay. So how can we know what is reality? And our mind is like, if we take acid, the reality would be different. So we can't count even on our mind.
Okay, so the question is, let's say that what the Gadi is saying is that, let's say that when you look at this, you see this as a flower. You see this as non-dream. You see this non-dream, or this is a dream?
In the dream, you can see that.
No. Just listen now. You are seeing this as a flower. You are seeing this as a non-dream. You are seeing this objectively real. You see so many things with the same object. You getting it? So how do you say that this reality? It has so many layers there. So you see it as permanent, unitary, independent. You see this autonomous substantial real. You see this external reality. You see this truly existent. You see this inherently existent. So there are so many layers there that you see all these things simultaneously. And you will see this as, this is not a dream. Okay, so how do you see the reality? So this, what I would say is that the most important thing is, what's most important that bothers Gadi? Tell me. In your life, what bothers you? Or what are you concerned about? What do you want to achieve? Gadi, tell me.
Again.
What do you want to achieve in your life? What do you seek?
Me?
Yes.
As most of the people, happiness.
No, you. What do you want?
Happiness.
Happiness. 10 degree of happiness? 10% happiness?
I wish for more.
If possible?
If possible.
100%.
Yes.
Okay. So, by seeing this as it's just a dream. If that helps you to get the happiness, try to know that. If you by seeing that this is not objectively real, your happiness soars. It simply erupts. Your happiness happens, go for it. You getting it? So there are so many realities to discover. There are so many realities. Of these, just go for, you cannot really go for everything, but go for some of these things which has direct relevance to you achieving your fearlessness and infinite happiness. You getting it? Okay. So for that matter, so what we are saying is that this flower exists conventionally, meaning it's coming from this subject. Or from the object, it's not there. And see in what way, you have to understand this first, you have to get it. If you get it, then try to apply this to your emotions. Whether the anger, whether the attachment, whether the fear, they all subside. If they subside, this is what you should be doing. You getting it? Yes.
It sounds to me like every phenomena you need to explore on the level where it's appropriate for that phenomena. For example, if you want to explore epidemiology or how a virus spreads, for example, and you only go to a single person, then you cannot explore it. But you need to go to a large group of people to explore it. So
Explore what?
How a virus spreads. So if you look at one person, you can say the virus doesn't spread. There's only one person. So you will say there is no spreading. So every phenomenon you need to explore on the level that is appropriate. And if you go to the atomic level always, there's nothing there. But it's not that it's not there, it's just not the right way to explore that phenomenon.
Did you follow what we said? How did you begin the class on emptiness? With two questions. What was the first question? What was the first question? Ashwin? Yes. What's the answer?
Yes.
Yes. What's your name? In Bob, don't forget these. So therefore, be compassionate towards me. I'm feeling tired. You're getting it? So there's so much energy here trying to make you understand things in a very simple way. Step 1, B, A, B, C, D, E, F. By the time where you go to X, Y, then you say, what's A? Right? A, you have to keep in mind. We never said that things don't exist. You're getting it? Everything exists. So if you say things don't exist, you fall into nihilism. Don't forget these. So you have to remember all these things and only then come up with your questions. You're getting it? And then you will get a very good picture. Otherwise, we cannot have a program in 1 week. We have to have like minimum 5 years, 10 years, so that we can go slowly. So what I'm saying is that remember those points. Remember those points here.
I just want to come back to conventions. So finally we kind of came to a conclusion that conventions are creating our subjective reality, right?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that at the end of the day, language is what is creating our subjective reality? Why I'm saying this, because there's a research.
What do you mean by language?
The use of language, the entire language, like the words and words.
Okay, don't be too aggressive. I'm afraid of you. I'm scared. What is language, please?
The words.
Words.
Yeah.
Words that you utter.
The label, let's just say the
The
label.
words that are or not?
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no words, then there's no language. So first settle on your language. Your language is the language. You're getting it. First you have to decide what you mean by language. You have to decide. You should be very clear with this. Whether it's a word or what. Right? Once you're there, then I will take you back to Big Bang. But the Big Bang is just a net.
I mean the word.
Which means for animals, they have no conventions. They don't have conventions.
I didn't think so.
For the child, they doesn't know that this is my mother. The puppies, they run after the mother. They don't know that.
We are telling the child that the person is his or her mother. Right?
No, they're small puppies. Puppies are smarter than us human children. Puppies, they know their mother. Right? They chase after the mother. They will never go after others. They will chase after the mother. So they know the mother from non-mothers. They know that. They don't have the word language.
There was a research done and a tribe does not see a green color because they don't have a word for green color. So they see green as blue, or they actually do not have understanding of green color. So what does that mean then?
Okay, so what about the dogs, the puppies? They don't have the language of the mother. They don't identify the mother. So what you do is that don't trust the research very easily. Number one, first try to understand the research so well. Don't just come half-baked. Right? You have to know the research so well. Then from your side, simply because it's a research doesn't mean that it is perfectly correct. You're getting it? Because what Newton said was proved wrong with the quantum mechanics. There's a paradigm shift happening. So simply because it is what the scientists say, it doesn't mean that it is accurate. You're getting it? You should be thorough. You should be thorough. So don't just quote somebody. If possible, during these discussions, the best thing is you should be convinced. With this conviction, then you come with your questions. Tara.
So before the technology of the electron microscope and all of these theories and quantum theory,
how did they meditate in emptiness?
Ultimately.
So what about this Arya-Nagarjuna? Right? I don't think that there's electron microscope at the time of Arya-Nagarjuna. Did he not understood? Did he not understand emptiness? Right? So how did they analyze emptiness? Is your question?
Yes. Back before all of this. Back
before the Newtonian, back before the electron microscope. Right? So Einstein did not have electron microscope. Even the Bodhicitta did not have electron microscope. Right? And in Tibet, of course not. He's a great master. No electron microscope. How did they got emptiness? Okay. So for us, at least we have the electron microscope. What's your name?
Anka.
So Anga gave the answer, if you remember. You're getting it? Anga said that she did not use electron microscope. She used a symbol microscope, where she saw leaf on one hand, put under a microscope, she sees something different. She said it. You're getting it? So I also said, it is not necessary to go to the level of the atoms. You remember that? Okay. So good. Let's not waste too much time on this. What I said, don't let me repeat. You're getting it? Okay. Let me go forward. So with this, now the point is, okay, now we got lost. Something is atomic, yes. Something is conventional, yes. On the atomic, yes, there's no difference between the male, female. This conception collapses. And there's no difference in young, old on the atomic level. But undeniably, there is difference between young and old. There's a difference between male, non-males, and so forth. There's difference. And what is atom, what is apples, and what is a stone? There's difference. On the atomic level, there's no difference. Atom, what? The stone and an apple, there's no difference. The electrons of the stone and the electrons of the atom, apples, there's no difference. Electrons, no difference. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that on that level, there's no difference. But conventionally, there is a difference there. Don't eat stones because there's a bunch of atoms, and the atom is also apple is also a bunch of atoms. So no difference. There's a difference there. You will die, right? Don't take cyanide. What do you call it? Cyanide? Don't take cyanide because you can take the paracetamol or you can take Tylenol, right? You take cyanide because they both are benefactors. Don't take cyanide, it can kill you. You're getting it? So you have to respect the functionality. The undeniable functionality is there, but not on the objective, on the subjective. Therefore, everything is subjective. Okay, now let us consolidate what we've learned. To consolidate this, we have to know what is known as the reasoning to establish emptiness. The reasoning of the four essentials to establish emptiness. Let's consolidate now. The reasoning of the four essentials to establish emptiness. Four essentials to establish emptiness. The reasoning of the four essentials to establish emptiness. Okay. First we need to enumerate what these four are. The first, the essential of identifying the object of negation. Essential of identifying the object of negation. The essential of identifying the object of negation, number one. Number two, essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Let me repeat it. Essential of understanding the emptiness. What is it? What did I say? Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Let me repeat it. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts.
With its parts?
P-A-R-T-S. Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. P-A-R-T-S. Okay, Tara, how do you pronounce it? P-A-R-T-S. Parts. Right? Is any from England? Sense? Okay, how do you pronounce it? Parts. Okay. Good. Okay, good. You're done, number two? Number three, the essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. This British. Essential understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different. Just change, replace one with the different. The essential understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. And then finally, the essence of understanding the pervasion, P-R-V-A-S-I-O-N, pervasion, essence of understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty, essence of understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with, or of being intrinsically one with, okay, let me repeat it. Essential of understanding the pervasion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one with its parts and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, I'll repeat it. Essential of understanding the pervasion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one with, let's make sure, intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails, E-N-T-A-I-L-S, entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. essential understanding the pervasion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, emptiness of the pervasion, emptiness of essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object.
What does the word pervasion mean?
Pervasion means that it necessitates. Okay, let me repeat it. Essential understanding the pervasion that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay. Timba, finished? Good. Conclusion. Therefore, emptiness of objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Therefore, emptiness of objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Therefore, emptiness of objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Emptiness of objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Therefore, emptiness of objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Yes. Okay. If you get some clue of the last line, what's the last line? Therefore, if you get some sense of this, you're very meritorious. Then this will give you goosebumps on your body. If you get it, it'll create goosebumps on your body. It'll let, cold waves flow through your body. If you get it. You getting it? Let's try. Okay, what's the first essential?
Essential of identifying the object of negation.
Essential of identifying the object of negation. Okay. First, we need to know what does it mean by object of negation. You getting it? So let us not take the don't give up easily. Number one, don't underestimate anything. Two things. Giving up means it's too high for me. Underestimating means it's too low. It's so easy. Both are problems. Underestimating, you will never have a cumulative knowledge because you keep underestimating it over time. Like after 5 years, after 4 years, 5 years, and so forth, somebody who was with you initially, who may not be as smart as you are, the person has been gathering the information. And after 5 years, there's an enormous cumulative effect of the knowledge. But in your case, some complicated philosophy is taught, other person has all this information and could understand so easily, but you could not follow anything. Not because not because you are dull, because that you are underestimated all the bricks piled up to create the massive castle, right? There's no castle like from the ore, this castle. No, it's the bricks which eventually made the castle. So this is one thing. Now, second category of a person is that, it's too high, then you underestimate yourself and then you leave it. So these are two problems. Never underestimate yourself. We all have the seed of perfection. Number one. Number two, don't underestimate. Underestimating is the greatest loss for you. You will not get that information. You will not learn anything. You may be intelligent, you may learn things so fast here and there. It is like, example given is like the fire on the grassland. Fire on the grassland is, it seems like there's a blaze there. When you go there to say, oh, it's a fire there, the blaze there, fire is gone. There's nothing left there. But it's the fire on the tree trunk. So although there's no blaze there, but with the tree trunk there's a deep fire there. It lasts long. So, if you underestimate, this is a problem. You may understand things so fast, maybe faster than many other people, or get this so easy. Then later on, you're left with nothing. Other people may outshine you. Okay, so underestimating is a problem, and okay, that's a beautiful word. What do you mean by overestimating? It means that it's too high. It's too high, I cannot understand it. Overestimating is a problem, right? Always believe in your seed of perfection. You also have the capacity to understand it. It may take longer time as compared to other people, but you will understand it. And even this intelligence, it's not that some people get to the intelligence, you don't have the intelligence. Even the intelligence can be cultivated. You're getting it? Even the intelligence can be cultivated. By studying like this, your intelligence is constantly being cultivated. And then on top of that, how many you don't want to suffer dementia when you become old? Reasons. How many you don't want to suffer dementia when you become old? Reasons. And how many are serious? How many of you are serious with that? If you're very serious, study emptiness. Right? If you don't want to suffer dementia. By studying emptiness, your synaptic connections are going to be connected very differently from otherwise. That way, your brain becomes very active even when you reach age 90, 100. Believe it or not, my teacher, both my teachers are in 90s now. One must be 96, 97. Other one is 91 or 92. Both of you, if you sit with them, you talk to bring these complicated issues. Before you could articulate everything, they could easily give it back to you. Before you complete your sentence. You just say this, you'll be fascinated. They are so fresh in the memories, in the sharpness. The memory loss is our question. So this is where therefore, say some intelligent people, what they do is that, although they don't have philosophy studies, but when they reach age 90s, what they do, some of them, smart people, what they do is that they continue to keep themselves so busy with some mathematical calculations and so forth, keep their brain active all the time. And with this, it far excels mathematical properties, solving problems. So this is extremely good to give your brain extremely active. And it works very different from how our brain works otherwise. Okay, so what's the first one? Joshua.
Essential of identifying the object of negation.
Thank you. Essential of identifying object of negation. So to say that, okay, I don't have a code, as I did. I don't have a gold coin. What did I say? I don't have a gold coin. So to say that I don't have a gold coin, what is negated? That me having gold coin is negated. Okay. I have no lantern in my pocket. Is it true or not? I have no lantern in my pocket. Is it true or not?
Yes. We don't know.
Huh?
We don't know.
You don't know?
We can't see your what's inside your pocket.
I see. So you don't know. Okay. So which means you have to see what's in your pocket. Are you sure? Okay. I don't have a house in my pocket.
That I know.
But you have never seen my pocket.
Because house is very big. And
exactly. You don't have to see my pocket. You get a large in this elephant. Langshin is the Tibetan word for elephant. You don't just see the pocket. Even if you see the pocket, still you cannot decide whether there's Langshin or not. You're getting it? So to say that, yes, you don't have a Langshin in your pocket, you have to know what Langshin is. You agree with me or not? So to negate something, you have to identify what to be negated. Right? So we say that nothing is objectively real. What is negated? Nothing exists objectively. What is negated? Hey, objective existence negated. So to negate objective existence, you have to first of all know what objective existence means. Without knowing this, how can I negate it? You're getting it? This is the meaning of identifying the object of negation before you understand emptiness. Okay. So for this, what's important is that when you identify the object of negation, you have to identify the object of negation very precisely. Very precisely. Okay. Say that let's say that you are the chief security guy of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Let's say, what was your job? Chief security guard of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So your job is to make sure that threat does not come to His Holiness. This is your job. Okay. So today you received a call from somebody that there is a very dangerous person who have already entered Himachal Pradesh. Right? So I'm giving this warning. You receive a phone call. And then what do you do? Oh, there's a threat. And this person is expected to stay in, they say, Dharamsala for 1 day. That is today. Okay, tomorrow. Only for 1 day. So, are you a good security guard or not? So your job is to stop the threat. So, when you say emptiness of objective existence, you have to stop the objective existence. Yes? Emptiness of objective existence, you have to stop the objective existence. You have to say the objective existence, no, it doesn't exist. So likewise, the threat should not come. So what you do is that next day you said that no one is allowed to visit His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Okay, do you succeed in stopping the threat?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Do you succeed or not succeed?
Yes.
No one is allowed to visit His Holiness the Dalai Lama tomorrow. Do you succeed in stopping the threat or not?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Because that dangerous person is also a person. So no person is allowed. Right? So, but did you do a good job?
No.
Why not? You stopped the threat. You're a security guard.
You stop everybody else.
So what's the problem?
So there are benefits of His Holiness meeting other meetings. So that also gets stopped.
So then Barack Obama comes. Right? I'd like to have a conversation on human rights with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and you are the chief security guy. You said that I said nobody is allowed, right? Barack Obama, please, sorry, not allowed. No one is allowed today, right? So what's the purpose of His Holiness? Why is His Holiness so important? Because He's doing things for the world. Now, as Chumila said, that now you are stopping His Holiness from serving the purpose of being His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The purpose is to benefit the world. Now another person who's a Nobel laureate, Nobel Peace Laureate, and who's also working for the humanity, human rights and so forth, and he wants to discuss on many matters on human rights with His Holiness. You stopped him also. So which means that this says, although you succeed in one way to stop the threat, but you also stop more than the threat. You getting it? This is known as maximalist redundancy. Maximalist redundancy. You stop more than what is to be stopped. This is known as maximalist redundancy. This is one problem. Okay.
Say the second word, redundancy.
Maximalist redundancy. Redundant. Okay. Maximalist redundant. By the way, what is redundancy in German? Huh? Good. Maximalist redundancy. And then the other problem is, okay, let's say that, let's say that okay, the terrorist, right? The terrorists, and then what you do is that you thought, okay, terrorists, there's always the males, right? So you as a chief security guard, you stop all the males, right? All the males, and the females is fine. And then even females can also be terrorists, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, right? So which means that although you succeeded in stopping one, but you could not stop all. You could stop one side, but not all. This is known as minimalist inadequacy. Minimalist inadequacy. It is inadequate. You did not adequately stop the threats. This is known as minimalist inadequacy. One is maximalist redundancy. You stopped more than what is to be stopped. Minimalist inadequacy. As you rejected inadequately, you rejected less than what is to be rejected. Inadequacy. 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 Okay, so when you identify the object negation, you have to identify the object negation very precisely, where these two problems should not be there. If any of the problems happen, you fail to identify the object negation. If you fail to identify the object negation well, then you cannot get emptiness. And you think you get emptiness, you do not get emptiness. You're getting it? You have to identify the object negation so well. Okay, so now let me say yes. Good, you read my mind? What's your name? Huh? Either you all read my mind or you all has to be a little patient to wait for what I was to say. One of these two things. You read my mind? No? Okay, so this is a good point. So I'm about to give the example. And she asked me for example. Okay, let's say that, if I say that flower exists? No flower exists. What's the problem? Oh, no flower exists. Flower is empty. No flower. No human beings. What's the problem? Huh? Did I identify the object negation well? No. I told you two problems, right? Remember those things. Bring them up here. Which problem I fall prey to? Maximalist redundancy. Thank you. Don't say nihilism. You getting it? Nihilism is not wrong. It's right. It's right. But now you are expected to be more technical. Right? You're expected to be more technical. Okay. So one time, I was in a Buddhist site, pilgrimage site, and there were people, as professional guides. You know what professional guides are? What's their job? Huh? To get money from you and show you around and
tell you about the history of the place.
Tell you about the history of the place. And me and my friend drove first a day, and then my friend hired a guide and paid some money. And the guide took us and said that first is that Buddha Shakyamuni was born as a Prince Siddhartha. Right? Prince Siddhartha. And he left the palace. So my friend said that, hey, you have to tell something more complicated because he's expert in this. He knows all these things. Don't try to waste his time. These things are all what he knows already. It's just then the poor guy is so honest. What he said is that I know that I don't have anything extra to tell, but this is how I survive. Okay, so what I'm saying is that they say when you are into more technicalities, try to bring the technicalities to give an edge to what we're discussing. You're getting it? So since we already discussed about identical object negation, there are two problems. What are two problems? Maximalist redundancy and minimalist inadequacy. So when I said that there's no flower, nothing exists in this universe. So what's is it the emptiness concept? You said no. Where did I go wrong? I did not identify object negation well. So which problem I fall prey to? Which is the two? Maximalist redundancy. Instead of saying, I say when he said it's nihilism, it's correct, it's not wrong. But you are not giving edge to this because we already learned what is known as maximalist redundancy. Okay. So when I say that then I said, okay, then I tell you, you ask me, what is emptiness? Then I say, emptiness means that the flower is the empty of being chocolate. The flower is empty of being chocolate. Is it empty of being chocolate or not? Yes. Yes, this is emptiness. Correct, not correct? Not correct. So why am I incorrect? Why? No, first you say that you fail to identify object negation well. don't bypass all these things. Right? What's my problem? That the flower is empty of being chocolate. This is emptiness. No, this is not emptiness. How not? Because you have failed to identify object negation well. How? Because you fall prey to minimalist inadequacy. Even if you reject that this flower being a chocolate, this flower being chocolate is rejected, still you will not get emptiness. You have not rejected the objectively existent flower. You could not reject it. So still you hold on to the flower to be object real. So the object negation is fully not rejected because you did not identify that fully. You getting it? You got it? Not? You're a little confused? Or a little tired? Little tired? Yes. Sometimes the mind hangs. Our brain hangs, right? So it's not your problem. It's not your mistake. Yeah, it's not your mistake. Sometimes, yes, when the complicated topics are discussed, and if you are fully there, your brain hangs. If you're not fully there, it will not hang. And then you'll say something very strange later on. Right? If you're fully there, your brain hangs and you cannot say anything. But if you're not there, you will say strange things. After completing the story, right? After completing the story, then you ask, who's that person? Right? Who's the main character? Right? After listening to the whole story for 2 hours, then you say, who's that main character? You're getting it? Okay. So what were we doing? Identify object negation. Okay, we'll stop here. I know that your brain has hanged. Okay. Any questions? 1 or 2 questions here.
You mentioned that conventional truth and conventional existence is not the same.
Okay, good question. Conventional truth and conventional existence these two are not the same, right? How these two are not the same? Okay, let me say this. Okay, this could be a little technical, brain hangs and it'll double hang, right? Okay. Everything exists, everything is conventional existent. Everything is conventional existent, but not everything is conventional truth. Ultimate truth is not conventional truth, but ultimate truth exists as conventional existent. In other words, ultimate truth exists conventionally. Everything exists conventionally, but ultimate truth is not conventional truth. It is conventional existent. It exists conventionally. Everything exists conventionally. Nothing exists ultimately. Nothing exists ultimately, but the ultimate truth is not conventional truth. Let me say this again. Everything exists conventionally. Ultimate truth exists conventionally, but the ultimate truth is not the conventional truth. It exists conventionally, it is not conventional truth. It is not conventional truth, but it exists conventionally and it exists as conventional existent. It is conventionally existent. Okay, likewise. Okay, so what is that? Ultimate truth exists as? Ultimate truth does not exist. Ultimate truth does not exist ultimately, but ultimate truth exists as? Conventionally. Ultimate truth is not conventional truth. It exists conventionally, but it's not conventional truth. Getting it? Yes.
What exists ultimately?
Nothing exists ultimately. Right? Even ultimate truth does not exist ultimate truth does not exist ultimately. Even the ultimate truth does not exist ultimately. Ultimate truth exists conventionally, but ultimate truth is not conventional truth. It is ultimate truth. Yes.
Have you given a definition for ultimate truth yet, or is that still?
Not yet.
Okay, so.
When do we say something exists ultimately?
Nothing exists ultimately. Nothing exists. Even the Buddha doesn't exist ultimately. If the ultimate truth doesn't exist ultimately.
One does the fact that time passes, is it subjective or objective?
Time passing. Okay.
In samsara.
Time passing in samsara. Is it? Okay, let's not add. First let me repeat what he said. Otherwise later on he may write. He may say, you didn't give my answer, you give answer to Gati's question. Okay, time passing, does it exist objectively or subjectively? This is the question. Similar question came to me when I was perhaps 19 or 20 years old. When my teacher used to teach a lot on emptiness, and I've been hearing, I was so interested in emptiness concept. And then I was translating for my teacher. How many of you have seen Tibetan Children's Village School? TC School. Okay, some of you have been there. So now today is the second day of the anniversary. I was from this school. I was brought from this school. And then from this I went to IBD. IBD is just below in the main temple. Attached to the main temple is IBD, Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. I was trained there. Then from there I had to rush to the hill atop the school, where the many hermits lived. And one of my teachers was also there, Venerable Geshe was also there. And so I was, most Sundays, I was being asked to do translation for his students, American students and students from Yugoslavia. And then the morning, the timing was 8 o'clock. And then from IBD to the hermit, say if you go very fast, I was very young, like 20 or 21. It may take like 35 to 36, 37 minutes. Otherwise, most people will take like 45, 1 hour. And the time was, 8 o'clock, I should be there. And the morning prayers, when the institute principal comes, sometimes he will extend it from 6 o'clock to 7:30, will extend it. Then I become nervous. So now I have to rush. And sometimes only about like 20 or 30 minutes left because I have to take this appointment there. So I have to struggle to rush. And then I would think that if everything is subject for real, right? Just I can imagine that I'm there, already there. And somebody there who wants to come to the town, and they can imagine that they're all in this town. We can just swap mentally. Why should I have to struggle all these? Right? So this was what's going in the mind. I see as a contradiction if things exist purely as subjective. So time passes. Is that subjective or objective? And the answer is purely subjective. Nothing objectively exists. Yet the time passes so real. Yes, it is real. It is not imaginary. It is real. Real meaning that it is efficacious. It is undeniably that time passing exists. Yet it is not objective. It is subjective. Okay, there. Yes.
Just like you said, in emptiness there is efficacy of cause and effect.
Yes.
So, how do we prove that? Because we also say that emptiness means absence of objective existence.
Yes.
So if cause and effect has to be there and to create an efficacy, then we say emptiness is there is efficacy of that. Because we are negating. We have to negate something for emptiness to happen, right?
What is negated? Objective existence of cause and effect is negated. Cause and effect is not negated. Objective existence of the cause and effect is negated. Or the cause and effect is not negated. In fact, when I understand it, well, then the same cause and effect will make sense to us when the objective existence of cause and effect is negated. Then the cause and effect turns out to be so efficacious, you will come to feel that the cause and effect must be undeniable, the reality, because they don't exist objectively as independently. Cause and effect doesn't exist objectively. Why? Because they don't exist independently, because independent existence and objective existence mean the same. They exist dependently. Effect depends on the causes. In the absence of the causes, effect doesn't make any sense. So when you reject objective existence, when you reject independent existence, then the cause effect makes even more sense to us.
In the second turning of the wheel, Buddha said that nothing objectively exists, right? And then that kind of contradicted the first turning. So his clarification was that, correct me if I'm wrong, only imputed nature things don't exist objectively, right? But then
Okay, that's it truly. Imputed nature doesn't exist truly or objectively, so what's the problem?
So now we're back to saying nothing exists objectively, no?
Okay. So the Buddha already made a clarification, and now again we're going back. The Buddha said that only the imputed nature doesn't exist truly, whereas the other part of nature and thoroughly established nature exists truly. Now here again we are saying that nothing exists truly, right? So why are you saying this? Hey, anyone? Hey, anyone? Anyone can give answer? Huh? Okay. Yes, over there. Yes. This clarification is for the Chittamatra, and we are talking about the Madhyamika.
Okay, I see. So the Madhyamika went back, like...
They don't go back. They're already there. Right? It's not that they go back. Because I said that Madhyamikas, with second turn of Dhamma, Madhyamikas is very happy, they left.
So they got like
they even did not listen to the third teaching. You're getting it? They don't go back because they did not hear the third teaching. You're getting it?
Okay.
Good. Okay, thank you. Your name? Yes. Elad. Okay, gentleman here, the boy.
Amir.
Amir, thank Elad.
Thank you, Elad.
Okay. Yes, Ashwin.
For a physical object like a flower, we can move closer. And
okay, be very careful. See, he asks very complicated questions. Yes.
We can move closer and see it in an atomic level.
Yes.
So it has no objective existence. But what about something like consciousness?
Okay, that's interesting. The mind. Okay, that's interesting. So what about the consciousness? Anyone? How do you know, how can you say that? You said that nothing exists objectively, nothing exists truly. So for the physical matter, physical things is fine. You can say that is atoms. What about your consciousness? What about your mind? How do you know that this does not exist objectively? Here?
In absence of causes and condition, you can't experience mind. Can this be a...
Okay, Ashwin? Okay, don't be scared. Your question is so good. If you don't agree, say I don't agree. Okay, what is being said is that if you understand that cause and effect in general does not exist objectively, then the mind or the consciousness operates in the cause and effect level. So what operates within the cause and effect, when the cause and effect generally is rejected objectively, then what falls under this category, they're all rejected. For example, let's say that human beings are not flowers. Human beings are not flowers. Humans in general rejected to be a flower, then Ashwin, Inbal, then the Ornella, right? You just mention any name of a human being, I can say that you are not a flower. Because human in general is already rejected to be a flower. Likewise, say the cause and effect in general is rejected to be objectively real, it exists objectively. It is rejected to be objectively real. Then anything which falls under this category, like the mind, consciousness, all these things, they are also operating on the cause and effect level, so they are also rejected to be objectively real. Are you happy? Not happy? Okay. So don't look at me, look at. You're not happy. Okay. So it makes sense. It makes sense, but still I know that the Ashwin is looking for a very direct answer. So you don't get a direct answer. Anybody? Anyone? Anyone? Two hands coming up? More hands? Okay, only 2 hands. Over there.
I would say because it's changing all the time, it's not stable. How can it be something objectively true? If it's like changing, like with every new information we get into our mind, it's changing. So what would be the objective thing?
So the Ashwin said that there's an objectively changing thing happening. Right? Change doesn't mean objectively empty. Even the change is also objectively real. Change is also objectively real. Objectively real change is happening. Right? Is this Ashwin, is this what we're going to say? Not sure? Okay. Yes.
So the mind...
Why this hand up? Question or answer?
And I want to give another answer to you.
What's the question?
The question of the mind objectively existing.
Mind don't objectively existing.
He said the mind doesn't objectively exist?
Yes. How do you explain this?
It doesn't objectively exist.
Yes.
Because the mind is in itself the subject and it is perceived by the mind. So the mind is perceived by the mind, hence it's subjective. No?
Okay, mind is perceived by the mind, so what's the problem?
So it's subjective.
How? Simply because it is perceived as the mind doesn't mean it's subjective. You getting it? It can be objective. Objective seen by the subjective. Your subject can see the objective flower. Mm-hmm. Right? All our minds, you look at the flower. Your mind is seeing your subject is seeing the flower, yes? But this subject is perceiving the flower as objectively real. You're getting it? Okay. Is your answer or question?
For like a bit of question on that.
Okay, bit of question. Is there anybody who can answer? Yes, over there. Mind is also dependent and arising. How?
Because it has causes and conditions.
So there's objective cause and conditions, yes?
But if we said something like an object exists from its own side.
Yes, from its own side, there's a cause and effect operating.
Yeah, the body is impermanent and dependent on causes and conditions.
Yes, it is impermanent. Okay, did you all understand what Maya is saying? Say the mind is dependent originated, it depends causes and conditions. Dependent causes and conditions is which of the three levels of dependent origination? First one. Okay, by the way, what is the second level of dependent origination? How many of you know that? Raise hands. Second level of dependent origination. How many of you forgot the second level? Raise hands. You forgot? So from Ras, from his eyes, I can see that his brain is hanging. It's hanging?
It's hanging really low.
Huh?
It's hanging.
Yeah, this is what I could see. Which means that you're very serious.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been very serious with this. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Take a little rest.
I'm trying so hard.
I can see that. Yes, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, so let's rest. Arasangate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswatyata. Okay, so as I predicted, it's correct, right? Ashwin's questions are complicated. You're getting it? This is why I'm warning you. Okay, Ashwin, don't worry. This is a very important point which I have to discuss in the class. What is that? So finally the purpose of all these things is for what?
Understand emptiness.
To get emptiness, for what?
Happiness and fearlessness.
Fearlessness and infinite happiness. So how to get rid of fear? Fear comes where? In your body or in your mind? Ashwin, where? Mind. So we have to see the emptiness of the mind, which is your question. How to see the emptiness of the mind? This is a very important. Because the fear is a mental state. Fear is a mental state. And how to see the emptiness of this fear. So first we have to learn how to see the emptiness of the mind. This is a major topic which I'm going to discuss in this class. Correct? Right? In case if I don't, you have to remind me. Okay. We stop here. And I sense that some of you want to meet with me for daily practice, what to practice, how to design practice. So I got a sense from the Venerable Geshe that some of you are interested in that part. This part is I will do in this class. So you don't have to worry about this. Say that, okay, if this is something very interesting, I'd like you to take it more seriously, do it as a practice, daily practice. What should I do? How should I start? Well, these things we will discuss in the class. Maybe one session we will use that for that.
Is it possible to maybe to write some questions, general
of
philosophic,
course.
and see you on the course you can reply to them?
Thank you. And in the group discussions, say the group moderators, if you find that some of the questions are really good and where there's no answer coming from the group, don't worry, just write it down and leave it on my table. You getting it?